I don't actually have my accommodation booked for next week, so it could be a different one again.
You don't have a different location for next week? What? Oh, controversial. But hello and welcome to a bonus episode of Pardon the Interception with your hosts, Lee Wood.
Nick Saylor.
And Dave Smith.
No results to look at this week, so we thought we'd take this opportunity to have a look around the leagues, look at the standings, and decide who's going to win the bowl. So there's no point running the rest of the season. So
wait, you're telling us we don't have secret info on the results from last week, and they've just been holding them back from everyone else?
I mean, the only reason they haven't been published is I haven't signed them off yet.
Ah, got you.
Yeah.
I just thought Bob was on a merry holiday.
That as well. I mean, I'm just waiting for the payments to hit my Cayman's account. So
is this where you're going to tell everyone that you are actually Bob?
Shh.
Okay.
Yeah, but your auto cut. So
that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Right. Looking at the GFL, we have the standings here. So we have 4 undefeated teams. Unsurprisingly, one of them being the Raiders, the Black Knights, the Steelers, and the Quake. Oh, and the Hawks. I missed the Hawks are on 4-0 as well. So teams we spoke about last season.
4-0-4-0-4.
That NFC West is an all or nothing division. You're either going to all win or all lose. Unfortunately, Conrad was our resident expert here, but what I see here is the Wraiths are going to run away with their division. I think the Black Knights are going to win theirs. I think that's probably going to be the AFC divisional game if they manage to miss each other in the playoffs. And then unsure with the rest. Maybe I do like the Mules in the East, and the Raiders have been doing well. What are your thoughts on the AFC?
The AFC isn't it just the Dave Russell show? Do we need to look at anyone else?
Black Knights.
The Black Knights have the possibility.
Jan's going to do it. I'm telling you now.
Jan, the Dave Russell killing man.
Indeed. I'm calling it now.
Are you talking about Jan Kazimierowicz?
That's the one.
Go. That is my mantra in life.
I choose to pronounce it Dave.
I guess the thing for Jan is he hasn't really faced up against particularly great opposition. So he's faced the Beach Breakers of great fame.
They're doing all right.
Who everyone's going to beat because, Aaron, doesn't know what he's doing.
Aaron loves a good beating.
I know. He's had to play the Raiders, which was the one kind of test, and that was a close game. And then he's played the Blaze and the Circle, which I think are both not doing too great. Yeah, Circle's 0-4.
Circle 0-4, yeah, and the Blaze are 0-3. So
yeah, so he's kind of not really.
So 0-3-1
tested too much, right? Whereas if you look at who Dave Russell's had, you got Robot Nick, Lee.
Robot Nick is here to tell you that the results will be in later next week.
Whereas the thing for me, while Nick's off, if you look at the Wraiths, they played the Gunslingers at a 3-1, and it absolutely demolished them. They played the Mustangs, who I believe 1-3, so we'll ignore that. They played the Pirates.
The who? Sorry, Simon. The Pirates.
Where are the Pirates?
There isn't a Pirates. Oh no, Boston Pirates 2-2.
Where they ran off to? Huh?
They're in the AFC East.
And he's played the Wildcats as well.
Wildcats 2-2, so not actually significantly stronger.
No, but he's been playing 2-2 teams rather than 0-4 teams, right? And that week one, destruction of the Gunslingers is interesting.
Do we have a Nick back? I thought I saw him move. Robot Nick's
Hello.
eyes moved.
Hope-
Yes, we
Hopefully
do.
I'm back. Switched my internet connection because
You back for good.
well, it wouldn't be a bonus episode without me disconnecting and becoming a robot, right?
No, it wouldn't be. Going retro here.
Yeah.
So, looking at the NFC, the Quake made the bowl last year. I can't remember whether they won it or not. So I'm having difficulty looking past the Quake. I know that Mark Spencer is always a force to be reckoned with. So Steelers Quake, I reckon, is going to be the divisional game here.
What do we think about the Bulls? What was their one loss?
I think that Chris shouldn't have moved out of the Atlantic and deserves to go 0-10.
But then Cy wouldn't be in the Atlantic.
True.
What do you think about Steelers?
They
Still
could-
look pretty good.
They could steal the bowl this year.
They have a quite the easy run again. Another team with an easy run.
Big game's going to be the Quake Hawks, right? Hawks.
Yeah.
I don't know how tough their schedule is, but that will go a long way to deciding the West over there. And what we're talking like Bulls, Steelers, Quake. The North looks a bit. Not really sure who's going to come out of the North. Anyone could come out of that division.
Bulls or Wild? Oh, North, sorry. Probably the Rockets. I don't think the Lightning are quite there yet, but we will see.
Yeah.
Have a quick look at what the playoff picture looks like currently. So playoff picture is pretty much as we guessed it, but the Stratford Steelers don't have a coach here.
No, he's
The
just
coach
not
has been
available
stolen.
this week.
Yeah, I don't-
This is where it broke. That's how the game broke. I realised
True.
we didn't have a coach.
But yeah, I don't think there's much else to really discuss around this. Should we
No,
move on to the
I think
Atlantic?
I think yeah, the top two seeds in each.
Who's
probably
going to win,
be
mate?
Close, and then I
Um,
don't know. I like Chris.
Black Knights.
And for the
Black Knights.
NFC?
Black Knights Quake. That's what I'm calling the
Okay.
bowl as.
Nick?
I'm going Black Knight Bulls. I'm gonna go for Chris Weiss doing the business, coming out of nowhere.
I like it. I'm going for Rafe Steelers. You had it here first.
Mhm.
Although, I quite fancy the Hawks as well. Can't be too greedy.
They
Rafe
could
Steelers.
swoop in there.
With that terrible joke, let's go look at the Atlantic.
It has no sense of humour.
Nick, do you want to lead us off here?
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting in the Atlantic this season. Most of us probably expected the Stallions to still be well up there, but they're at 2-2. Stingrays we probably expected to be on a bit of a dip, but they are 4-0. Sharks, as we know, pretty good at home, good defense. Some team called the Avalanche, coached by Simon Wood. No idea who they are.
It's actually the Basing Avalanche, I'll have you know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
From the
they
place
are.
of-
They are from the town of old.
But the CFC just looks a bit of a mess. There's clearly 2 strong divisions and 2 weak divisions this time round. The South and West anyone could go through, and North and East, yeah, also anyone could go through, but it's unlikely to get any wild cards from up there.
The wildcard slots look locked up.
Yeah,
in the
so
CFC.
like each division is interesting, but yeah, it's going to be those divisional games that are going to be huge over that way. The MFC looks far more interesting in terms of like an overall picture.
As
Got
always.
my team still in there. Well, I think the Rapiers have probably hit that point where their rebuild is really getting going now, and you probably can't look too much past them taking the MFC side of things. I mean, like Spitfires maybe. I'm not sure really beyond that from the MFC side of things.
I mean, I can confirm that the Mariners are not going to repeat.
That's why I didn't mention them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like Lee deciding to go into a rebuild with the Bears from the town of Bath Snow is quite key to that division. I think if he hadn't and tried to string out another season, that MSC South would have been even tougher than it is now. Brockton, they're doing all right. Unsure what's happening in the MFC North.
Meerkats, it's their year.
Yeah, I'm also not a Spitfires fan. I don't think they live up to the hype.
Achtung! Spitfire!
And the MFC East, unsure who's going to come out of that one, to be honest.
I'd say the Blues are probably going to come out of that one, Phil.
Yeah. The Rapiers, I think, are going to make the bowl out of the MFC teams at the minute. That would be my call.
Yeah, I think it's like the Rapiers look pretty standout on the MFC side of things. Yeah, I think that in the CFC side of things, we're probably looking at like Stingrays, Sharks, and Avalanche. I know they're the 4-0 teams, but they've all beaten good opposition and looked fairly comfortable this season. Yeah.
Simon, anything to add before we go look at the playoff standings?
I think I like the Spitfires a bit more than you.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I've been demolishing people and they only lost to the Stingrays by a little bit.
Yeah.
It was away, and
I think just because I beat them last season, knowing how bad my team was, I don't rate them that much. My team wasn't that good last season.
True, I think I got a chance.
Yeah. I had a very easy schedule last season, which helped a lot. And we go look at the playoff picture. It's an interesting one because Simon with your 4-0, once again 4-0 team only in the wildcard slot. But I'm going to call the bowl, and I'm going to call Avalanche Rapiers as the bowl.
Duh. You should look at my team sheet.
Yeah. It's Stingrays Rapiers for me. I think Stingrays have shown they've still got what it takes, and with the Stallions a little bit out of the way, that it might be the year that the Stingrays can get that win, and then they can go into their rebuild if that's what they want to do.
Simon?
Stingray Spitfires. Screw the Rapiers.
I think there's an outside chance the Spartans get good enough across the season to maybe contend, like they're there or thereabouts, and if they had a good coaching season, I think most people would say they're a year behind the Rapiers.
Yeah,
they catch up throughout the season, could swing the other way.
Definitely a toss up between the Rapiers, the Spitfires, and the Spartans, because the Bay Bears and Mariners are crap.
Yeah, it could be one that comes down to in injuries. that could be key.
I guess that's the thing we don't know for sure. Is there any 2-2 teams that kind of lost a game or two to injury and are going to now?
You should look at my injury list.
Okay.
I didn't have enough injured reserve spots in week 3, I think, or week 2. Injury crisis, worst in the league. See, it says it along the rolling bar.
Nice. Are you doing a version of the Colts in the Delta where they had no athletic coaches?
I believe I have athletic coaches.
They did that one year and then wondered why they were getting loads of injuries.
You've got a fairly good Scrabble score going on here. If you could get a couple of vowels.
Oh, you do. Nick does have 2 athletic coaches. I can't. It is just bad luck by the looks of it.
Oh yeah. But it was quite amusing not being able to have enough spaces on your 3-slot injured reserve list for all your D's. Goes
up to 6 slots next week, is it?
I think it might have been this week. I can't remember, but the week before was just. I was like, I've never been in this situation. Guess I might as well play my C-class injured players.
Right, on to the biggest Skyus. Standinios. Who wants to lead us through on this?
Simon.
Do you want to start off? We got the Dave Russell of the Big Sky in the PFC North. The riveting
Original
rivets.
comrade.
Original comrade.
Sorry, not original. Winning comrade.
More successful Conrad, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
The more winning comrade.
Winningest Conrad.
Nice.
Conrad Winningham.
It looks like the Bay Packers, the Titans, the Stormers, the Eagles are all unfair themselves, the Maroons. There's a lot of teams that are doing well in the Big Sky this year, especially on the PFC side. I think the LFC is a bit easier.
The PFC North looks a lot closer than the East or South. The East or South, I'm tempted to call them over when the second place team is 1 and 3.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you know who's going to the bowl probably.
LFC South is where it's at. 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2.
Yeah, parity.
Who's going to win? Nobody knows.
But yeah, like LFC looked pretty close. Like there's no 0-4 teams in the LFC already, which is pretty impressive to some extent.
The thing on the PFC side is the Rivets kind of dominated last year, and they've put 221 points on already.
The LFC South, the LFC East is interesting, where you've got the Statesmen having lost a divisional game, but the only team that's 2 and 2. So that one divisional loss and only being one game ahead, that could cost them the division there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, how good are the Generals this year? 3 and 1. I mean, they've almost wrapped up their division already, I guess.
I mean, it's Brad, so it's Brad. It's hard to look past them, and yes, the second place team is 1 and 3 with minus 52 point differential. So,
I mean, the PFC looks surprisingly like not very close in general. Like you've got the Generals, the Eagles, who both have two games over the rest. Packers and Titans look pretty good. I guess the Stormers are still in there, and then the PFC North, which you can rarely look beyond the Rivets. I think the Surfers have looked reasonably good this season. Don't know enough about the Maroons. That could be an interesting division to watch though. LFC side of things looks like Sharks look pretty good. Always like some swarming giant hornets. They're always good fun to watch. And then trips them. I quite like the Shadows end of last season, start of this season, but they are 2 and 2, so interesting to keep an eye on.
Anything else before we go look at the playoff standings?
Go to the playoff picture
and make some bold predictions. No huge surprise in here, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's Tripson's year, so I'm going to call the safe bet of the Rivets from the PFC, but I'm going to call the Swarming Giant Hornets from the LFC.
Pretty bold prediction. I don't know. The Rivets always look really good. Did they had a like 96 point win or something?
Yeah,
right?
they had
So
a redonkulous win.
So their points differential was maybe a bit more skewed than we'd expect it to be. I don't know. Let's
Depends. I expect them to get more 96 point wins.
I'm gonna go. I reckon Bay Packers Sharks. Let's go Bay Packers Sharks.
And Simon?
Definitely the Rivets. So, they've won the last 3 bowls on the bounce. So
that's where you got to be different.
Had to 3-peat. I think they're going to get the 4-peat.
So they want to go for the belt and braces.
They're going for for taking everything out. But who are they playing? That's the question. It's
LFC looks really cool, like for a playoff perspective.
I just think Adrian Hill's going to get there. A man who loves a reply to all.
So they got Davies going again.
Yeah. No, they're definitely in with a shot.
I'm going Rivets Buccaneers again, like last season.
Fair enough, Ski.
If that happens, Adrian, you get an email from me.
And on to the Continentals. So, Nick, what do you make of the Continental?
I'll kick things off with another fantastic division, RFC East, all on 2-2 again. Oh, I'm surprised the Badgers are actually 2-2. That was my first reaction anyway. Yeah, we've got like the Thunderbirds are always their Renegades are always pretty good. They're probably the two big ones in the RFC. UFC, I've quite liked the classics this season. I know they lost a game, but they've looked pretty good for the start of the season. UFC South looks good fun. Zulus, Trojans, Westies, they've even got cool names. And the Brooklyn Park Bombers are a pretty solid side as well. Yeah, like it's maybe one of the more open leagues in general. Almost every division has like quite a bit of competition going for it. UFC West maybe, UFC West and RFC West maybe not quite so much, but overall pretty fun league to look at.
Yeah, the classics were looking hot at the end, towards the end of last season, then cooled down a little bit. So, but I agree, they're looking good again. Looking good again here, and fairly open divisions. There's not really one I can put my finger on and go, I think they're definitely going to win it. The closest we've got is probably the Thunderbirds and the Bombers, but even then, they're only 2 games ahead.
Yeah, I think we probably expect the Thunderbirds to take the division based on past seasons. And as I say, the Bombers have looked pretty decent so far. Yeah,
The Thunderbirds are go.
Indeed. Or are they the Mountain Thunderbirds?
They are the Mountain Thunderbirds. The Mountain Thunderbirds are go.
Right. Should we go look at the playoff picture?
Go for it.
And Nick, we'll let you make first call here.
I kind of said it before. I think Thunderbirds Brooklyn Park Bombers is going to be the bowl game. The Renegades have also looked very good this season, so wouldn't count them out. But Thunderbirds Brooklyn Park Bombers for me.
For me, as odd as it seems, I'm just drawn to Monarch's destruction. I don't know why.
I mean, they're on the same line, so
I think it's Nick Dean Elliott.
Yeah. I could see that being the bowl here. I really could. And that's me going against the Badgers, which is unusual for me in the C.
to be fair, like line 4 Badgers Classics is could be
yeah,
there or thereabouts as well.
Yeah.
I do like the name of the Park Bombers. It's kind of, and from Park Bombers from Brooklyn. But I think the Destruction are a slightly better team, despite the one loss. They haven't really been giving up as many points as the Park Bombers. So I fancy the Destruction against the Thunderbirds, because Thunderbirds look too good at the moment.
FAB. Well, hopefully the strings don't get pulled and they do manage to continue their winning ways. But let's go look at the Delta. Simon, what do you want to tell us about this weird league?
Kendall being at 3-1 is just disgusting.
I knew that's where you were going to start.
The rest of the VFC East should be disappointed in their performance. When Kendall's topping the division, things are going wrong. VFC South, what the hell are they doing?
I have no idea what they're doing, to be honest.
I know, the Jorvik Jets should not be doing that well.
No, they really shouldn't.
Didn't you lose to them?
I lost to that. Yeah, my team's a load of crap.
We had a classic game of could he throw it or could I run it, and on that day I managed to run it.
Fair.
And we don't get to have the repeat game, unfortunately.
No. having two rebuilding teams in the VFC South is interesting, though.
But getting kind of, I guess, being slightly more serious about the things, it's all a bit topsy-turvy. You got, the classic Aaron and Eric, always winning on the GFC side, although the Enigma are being a bit of an enigma this year and actually winning. So, they could throw a spanner in the works. The Cyclones look okay. The Cyclones look very good, but Matt does have a tendency to capitulate. Being from my division, I'm used to him. On the VFC side, yeah, Katanas probably. I don't really like the Colts. Don't really like the Copperheads particularly. The Patriots and Sunblazers could do well, but I think the Katanas are a bit too good. Our defense is just ridiculous.
I think the Mariners are one season off. I think next season the Mariners sweep the VFC West.
Probably they just have no defense at the moment, and if they're working on that, then
yeah, no, I think it comes. I given the difference between last season and this season with them, if they continue on 50%, even half of the gains they've got this year, then they're a deep playoff team. The Fury dropping off is interesting, but I know that Phil has been a proponent of his doom for a while.
How good is the Warriors special teams this year?
Still as good.
Okay. They're 3-1, so up there.
Yeah, divisional game being the only loss, I think, to the Lone Stars.
Yep, to the Lone Stars.
Yeah. Anything else before we go look at the playoff picture?
Nope.
Be careful not to bring up my roster. I think that as much as my heart wants to go somewhere else, my brain's just saying that Lone Stars Katanas Northwest is what we're going to get again. Yeah.
I think there's a chance for the Cougars. I would say.
Yeah, the Hoff definitely has a chance, but I just don't see past Aaron because he's not running two competitive teams this season, so he doesn't need to game plan as much in the GFL. So I can potentially see him focusing in that extra game planning time into the Delta, which means that he's unstoppable.
But does his GFL record count against him in the D? And therefore,
it should. It should. His opponents should get in the D should get points equal to what his opponents in the GFL.
Yeah,
seems reasonable.
And he'd still probably be 2-2.
Yeah, I don't know. I just fancy the Christie Cougars over the Jolla Lone Stars. So Cougars Katanas.
I'm going to be more controversial. Cougars Patriots. There we go.
Possible.
Patriots looked good every season.
I liked their defense last season.
And even though I think that the bowl is going to be the Lone Stars Katanas, I think the champion's going to be the Copperheads, just because I know it'll make Kendall.
Which team's the Copperheads?
Sorry, the Flopperheads.
Thank you. Get it right.
And moving on to the Empire. Spandinios. Nicholas.
It's a very familiar top line of Jacksonville High Hunters, and then on the opposite side, Armageddon Kings. They're always up there. They've got to be two of the favourites as always. Patriots have looked pretty decent this season. Jaguars have obviously done well. They're 4-0. I quite like the look of the Lions. I quite liked them middle of last season. They started off badly, but have looked pretty good other than their one loss. Birmingham Red Bulls were, if I remember correctly, we didn't give them enough credit in the playoffs last season.
Correct.
They performed very well. So not to be overlooked. We'll try not to overlook them again. The Storm have looked very good, District 12 Storm. And as have the Romford Rough Rangers. As always, Thundering Herd have always pull me towards them. 2 tough losses, if I remember correctly, and they always like scrape wins here and there. Yeah, I like where the E is positioned at the moment. The West is looking like the Lions to lose at the moment, but other than that, all the other divisions, it's there to play for at least 2 teams out of the 4.
What do we think about the Rarotonga Rogues? It's a team that I don't think we've spoken much about, but they look like they could be in good chance of a wild card and maybe sneak in a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I mean the tough part for them is they're in the division with the Kings, which, as you say, like puts them in with a chance for a wild card spot. It's just a matter of whether I think the Rough Rangers look pretty good for right now for one of the 2 wild card spots, and it probably comes down to probably the Monarchs, Thundering Herd, and Rockpool Knights as to how well the rest of the season goes for them. Thundering Herd pick up wins here and there. Monarchs looked pretty decent last season. It fell away a little bit. Yeah, I mean they're in a good position, definitely.
Simon, what does Excel tell you the answer is?
I haven't got Excel for the Empire because the Empire's the best league. So we
It's
know
all
what
about
to do with the
feel.
But it's all about the feel of the Empire. It's about the feel. Not that I've ran out of time and did the leagues start to finish at all. I think the Rogues look quite smart, but they did get absolutely demolished by the Kings. So I can't see them getting out of that division.
I don't see them going past the Kings in the playoffs, but I can see them potentially getting a wild card.
Oh, they're definitely
Probably the
wild
6th
card
slot.
contender. Definitely. But the problem is, like, what we're going to find out is when the Rough play the Storm.
Yeah,
that's when we're going to find out, who's going to win from that. So it's one of those 2. They've both got great offenses, great defenses.
It's got to be the team with triple alliteration.
The
R.
R is better than R in the PFC East then.
Yeah, Graham's team.
I mean they've conceded the 2nd least points in conference. It's pretty good. Actually surprised the Russians aren't doing a little bit better than they are.
To quote the prophets, Boney M, oh those crazy Russians.
Mm-hmm. I mean they do score and concede a lot of points. The games are fun. Well, a lot of games are fun.
Right, let's look at the playoff picture.
Disappointingly.
I didn't catch your pun, unfortunately, Simon.
No, I was expecting you to have a Snatch reference when you were talking about Russians.
No, because that's Germans.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, shows.
Quick, before the Germans get here.
No, it's those.
Boris.
Or something.
Boris, the crazy fucking Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah. As ever, the Empire is the one that I sit here, stare at there, and go, right. I'm unsure because it's close. I think going on past form, what I think, and the feeling in my gut, Red Bulls Rough Rangers. I want as many R's in the bowl game as I can. And that's what I'm going with. The Birmingham Red Rules and the Romford Rough Rangers. Nick?
I gotta back my man, Postman Pat, right? Jacksonville High Hunters. And I don't know, I like the District 12 Storm. I know that looks fairly boring 2-4-0 teams, but those 2 have stood out for me this season. Though I have noticed the Aurora Tigers are coached by Randy Scoggins, and
Gogmeister General.
That's always brings eyes towards them from an A perspective. I mean, Mark Foster at the Rough Riders will probably do pretty well as well this season. He knows what he's doing. So.
Simon.
I fancy the Wales Jaguars against the 12 Storm.
Okay.
The Jaguars just look really good for me.
Yeah.
Jaguars.
I think
Pat's not delivering, and the High Hunters' defense is leaky as a bucket.
I think that any of those top three could easily make the
Buckets,
bowl.
those very well-known leaky things.
I think the High Hunters are too leaky to make it to the bowl, so it'll be the Jaguars.
Do you mean a holy bucket or a colander? Because buckets are not known for leaking.
They've got a colander bucket.
Civ.
So their bucket is belonging to a dear Liza then.
Yeah.
Any passing words this week from you, Simon?
No.
You're not just a poor boy from a poor family.
I'm just a poor boy waiting for Bob to get off his bloody holiday.
I'm disappointed that when we got to the A, you didn't just start singing "We Are the Champions" 4-0 record.
That's because it's going to turn into 4 and 6.
Confidence, love it.
Nick, anything else from you?
I will try and find another location to record from next week because I seem to be recording everywhere and anywhere.
Thing is what people don't realise, these are all just different rooms in Nick's house.
I wish. I mean, I think I genuinely have been at 5 different locations to record this season.
I think it's just 5 different backgrounds, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Don't tell everyone. I specifically moved the lighting back so it even looks like a different room.
Oh yeah, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.